you must be familiar with the sonography machine used during pregnancy to see babies or to examine organs like the liver, kidneys, and urinary bladder. But did you know that the idea for this machine actually came from a bat? Do you know how? At the end of the 18th century, an Italian scientist named Lazzaro Spallanzani was observing bats. He was amazed to see that these small creatures could fly easily in the dark without bumping into anything. At that time, no one knew how this was possible. Spallanzani conducted several experiments and finally understood how bats were able to do this. He realized that bats navigate by making sounds and listening to the echoes of those sounds. This discovery seemed quite simple, but in reality, it was from here that humans got the idea that sound could also be used for seeing. A few decades later, in 1880 in France, two brothers, Pierre Curie and Jacques Curie, discovered a remarkable phenomenon called the piezoelectric effect. They found that when certain crystals are subjected to pressure, they generate sound waves, and when those same crystals are exposed to sound waves, they produce an electric current. Although this effect seemed like a scientific curiosity at the time, it later laid the foundation for ultrasound machines. At the beginning of the 20th century, during World War I, the threat of enemy submarines under the sea had increased. At that time, scientists thought, why not detect hidden objects underwater by listening to the echo of sound? This is how sonar technology, that is, sound navigation and ranging technology, was born. Ships would send powerful sound waves into the water, and when those waves bounced back after hitting a submarine, its position could be determined. This was sonar technology. This sonar made doctors and engineers wonder that if we can see hidden objects in water, maybe we can also look inside the human body. The first attempt at medical imaging was made in the 1940s by Australian doctor Carl Dosick, who experimented with the idea of applying ultrasound waves to the human brain. He tried to visualize the inside parts of the brain and created the world's first ultrasound image. However, that image was not very clear and was not practically useful. But this was a beginning, the first time ultrasound waves made their entry into the world of medicine. In the 1950s, a Swiss gynecologist named Ian Donald took this technology. He truly made them suitable for medical use, the industrial ultrasound machine used on ships. Donald thought that it should be tried on such patients. He first tested it on abdominal tumors and pregnant women, and then, for the first time in the world, an image of uterine tissue was produced. Just imagine how emotional that moment must have been when a mother saw her baby inside her womb with the help of an ultrasound image. This is where sonography became a game changer in the medical world. The greatest need for the ultrasound machine was felt during pregnancy. At that time, doctors only had the option of X-rays, but those involved radiation, which was harmful to both the baby and the mother. Doctors needed a method that was safe, painless, and real-time, and ultrasound provided all of that. Without any surgery, without any radiation, just by using sound waves, you could see inside. That's why this machine spread to every corner of the world. The early ultrasound machines were very large and produced only black and white images. Between 1960 and 1970, moving real-time ultrasound was introduced for the first time. In 1980, color Doppler technology was introduced, which made it possible to see blood flow and even heartbeats, and today, 3D and 4D ultrasounds are available. With these, you can even see a baby's face smiling during pregnancy. The journey of the machine began with bats, and today that technology has become one of the world's safest and most emotional diagnostic tools. Let's find out how the machine actually works. The heart of the sonography machine is the transducer, which contains tiny piezoelectric crystals. When an electric current is applied to these crystals, they vibrate rapidly to produce high-frequency ultrasound waves, which are then sent into the body. And when these sound waves hit different tissues, a part of them is absorbed at each spot, while some of the waves are reflected back as echoes to the transducer. The transducer then captures these echoes and converts them into electrical signals. The computer processes and calculates these signals. Which wave returned after how much time and how strong is each wave? A wave that returns quickly indicates a nearby structure, while a wave that returns after a delay reveals a deeper structure, and the strength of the echo indicates the softness or hardness of the tissue. By combining all this information, the computer creates a real-time image. That's why we are able to directly see a moving baby, organs, or any injury live. It's exactly like how a bat finds its way in the dark using ultrasonic sound. Here, ultrasound simply maps out the world inside the body.